Hey guys, it's Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and we're here with our Smackdown live review on February 6th, 2018. Honestly, Smackdown was just a show. There wasn't nothing special. The main event set up the main event for Fastlane. We had a pretty good match between Bobby Roode, or as Rusev like to call him, Bob Roode, and Rusev. Nick, what's going on?
What is going on? Yeah, again, just an episode of Smackdown. Yeah, let's just break it down. There's not much to kind of say about it. I think it's just kind of a run down the card, and I will have it let it be known now. I did not get the notification through my phone.
Well, I posted that on Twitter, so hopefully people see that. Now, before we get into SmackDown, 205 Live had a pretty badass main event that I did see.
Oh, wow. I actually watched it for the first time.
Yikes, these fucking people outside.
What are they doing?
You hear them?
I actually can, yeah.
But I'm gonna be like the old guy sitting on his porch. Hey, you whippersnappers, shut the fuck up.
I don't think old people say that.
Oh,
but
there was a guy that grew up by us that used to say that when we'd ride our bikes and fucking he had like this cool driveway that was like downhill. It was like uphill a little, but then it was downhill really fast and do like a jump. So we'd hit his driveway all the time on purpose, and he'd yell at us just like that. Or he actually say, "Hey, you fucking kids, get off my fucking lawn."
We're getting off topic here. Elite
anyways.
No, you can't.
Anyways, so 205 Live. Talk about that really fast.
So I watched it, and it was really, really good. The main event was great. The fact that, you got a guy like Roderick Strong, who, spoiler alert if you haven't watched 205 Live yet, he won. Roderick Strong took the win over Hideo Itami, which is kind of interesting to me because he, Roderick Strong isn't a 205 Live guy. I kind of assumed, they're going to do the same thing they're doing with Tyler Bate. They're just going to throw him in there, and they'll put on a great match, but ultimately Roderick will lose. It's not going to hurt him in the end because to him it's not really canon. But they had him go over, and next week they've got Mark Andrews. They got Mark Andrews. I forget who he's facing, but that's going to be really exciting. But for now, before 205 Live and before the Mixed Match Challenge, we had SmackDown Live. Let's go ahead and break it down.
Yeah, so SmackDown Live opened up with Shane McMahon. He said that he was excited.
Shocking.
He said he was excited about tonight's main event, but at the same time he wasn't. He doesn't think that the two men that are going to be fighting for a championship opportunity deserved the championship opportunity, and the crowd booed him. He doesn't respect either of them, but he does respect Daniel Bryan in his decisions, so he's going to let it stand. Which gets me, if he's the head guy on SmackDown, the commissioner, he's in charge of everybody, even Daniel Bryan, why does he go with this then? Instead of just saying, Daniel, I don't like that idea, sorry, I'm nixing it. I'm vetoing your idea because I'm your higher power. No, he's
the last few weeks, the logic in WWE has just really thrown me off.
Yeah, I mean...
The logic in place, like, we're supposed to forget everything.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
So, Bryan came out to a pretty good reaction, and McMahon talked about their shared vision for SmackDown and giving people opportunities. Crowd chanted for Rusev Day, and McMahon said, I'll make a note of that. He asked if the crowd would like to see someone get new opportunities, and they cheered again. Bryan said that we saw what happened at the Royal Rumble, and he decided to turn a negative into a positive. He thought Shane would like the idea of Owens and Zayn tearing each other apart. Bryan joked that he thought that he would get a raise for this decision, and the crowd started chanting, yes. Shane.
How much do you think Bryan's making?
Oh, I don't know. To him, I don't even think it really matters. He doesn't care about the money. He really just cares about finishing this contract so he can leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't. He's like, hey, I'll pay you guys to let me go, actually.
I mean, from things I've heard, it's like a CM Punk situation. He lives very minimalistic, saves a lot of his money, and he doesn't need the money at the time because the life he lives is non-materialistic and he doesn't spend much to live.
Right.
Anyways,
but let's continue.
Where was I?
The next segment after the big Shane McMahon opens every episode
Daniel
of
Bryan,
SmackDown.
not Daniel Bryan. AJ ended up coming out.
Oh boy.
AJ Styles comes out and he says that. Well, first Shane said that he basically said that he thinks Daniel has a soft spot for Kevin and Sami because they got to WWE the same way he did.
Didn't
traveling
AJ
the roads and the indies and all that.
Didn't AJ technically do? No, I wouldn't say he did.
Well, AJ comes out and says that he traveled 10,000 miles defending his championship, and he says that he would put the title on the line against anybody, but he thought that Owens and Zayn already ruined their opportunity. He said it wasn't his fault that the referee counted for the wrong guy and they should move on. Styles said that he didn't care who won tonight. He just wanted Bryan and Shane to quit their fighting because every time they fight over Owens and Zayn, it affects him and the championship.
Yeah, it really makes that champion look like utter fucking garbage. Championship, excuse me.
Right. We then get a shot of the locker room, and apparently they have nothing for the New Day, so they said, hey, we're going to show the New Day a couple times tonight goofing around and ask them questions on Twitter.
That's fine with me. If you don't got anything for someone, just kind of throw them into like a whimsical spot. Let them kind of show their comedic timing chops and, let them go.
Yeah, they were playing with pancakes, and Kofi had these things on his fingers. It was one finger was the head of a unicorn, and then the other 4 fingers were the feet. So we had like a unicorn finger puppet on his hand the whole time.
I'm okay with this happening.
The first question apparently asked if Corey has a better jab or a left hook. They said concluded would find out. They would find out another way. Poor Booker.
Yeah.
There was another jab to Corey later on during these New Day segments. Anyways,
so this is it's all a work.
I mean, it's got to be.
Even Meltzer says, I'm pretty sure it's a work.
It's got to be for the most part. But they then showed backstage Shinsuke Nakamura approached AJ Styles and said, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. Nakamura exited the frame, and Styles just shook his head like, okay, whatever. Finally had our first match of the night. It was a match they said Charlotte requested. It was Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan. About a 7-8 minute match.
Why would she request that?
Because the Riott Squad attacked her last week.
You think she would request, like, I don't know, a good match or something?
I don't know.
Ooh, burn.
So within like the first 30 seconds, they cut to commercial and they did the whole picture thing. They come back and Liv Morgan actually had control. She got a couple quick 2 counts. Charlotte kicked out, came back with a neckbreaker and a spear. The referee caught the Riott Squad trying to assist Liv Morgan by helping her out of the ring when she got knocked down. He then tossed them from ringside. Charlotte nailed the big boot and the figure 8 for the victory. Afterwards, Charlotte indicated to the announcers that she intends on beating the other 2 Riott Squad members as well. So I guess they're going to do those other 2 over the next couple of weeks.
Next 2 over the couple of weeks, and then a title match against Ruby Riott at Fastlane?
Maybe.
Or whatever the next pay-per-view is.
Fastlane in March.
Yeah, just throw a title match between those 2.
I guess. Happen.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be the only reason I would appreciate that is because it'd be a clear direction, I guess.
Exactly.
It's clear. It's like bam, bam, and then I'm not gonna fight you here. I'm gonna fight you at Fastlane because when I beat you, I want to beat you at a pay-per-view for the title, not just on SmackDown.
Right.
So one can dream, but it probably won't even happen like that. It'll happen at a house show, and we won't fucking know.
All right, so we go backstage and we see a close-up shot of a locker room door. Says Kevin Owens, and someone knocks on it. It's Renee Young. She wanted to interview Kevin Owens, and he opens the door. It was funny. Like, she knocks on the door, and so Owens opens the door, and when he notices it's Renee, he just kind of gives her a look like, oh, crap, you again?
Like, oh, yikes.
She said she wondered if tonight's match between him and Sami would affect their friendship, and Owens said, for once you have a great question there, Renee, but you're going to have to ask Sami, because he's the one that's going to lose, and I don't know if he can handle it.
I like that. Oh, God, they're the best. I ship them. Cammy?
Huh?
Cammy.
That's
their nickname, right? Cammy?
Yep. Cam. Well, that's what AJ calls him, or did. He didn't say it tonight.
Oh.
So we then had a squash match with the Bludgeon Brothers. Pretty much nothing match. It was funny. The first jobber just got beat down by Luke Harper, and the other guy just jumps off the ring apron like, I'm done. I'm out of here. And so as he goes to walk around the ring, Luke Harper jumps out of the ring, starts following him, and all of a sudden, here comes Eric Rowan running as fast as he can, jumps, cross-bodies the guy right on the floor. Picks him up. I saw that. Picks him up like nothing, like this guy weighed like 20 pounds, was carrying him by one arm, just threw him in the ring, and they hit him with a double powerbomb. beat them.
Now, let me tell you something. You've been to a TV tapings, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been there to watch a jobber entrance?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever seen a jobber match live.
My first ever show, there was a jobber match. It was during Braun. It was like right at the height of Braun's big old push. And it was in Oakland, and the Warriors are big out here, and so they had, I think it was a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Oh Lord, I think I know exactly what match you're talking about.
Yeah, and the team was called I think they were called the Splash Brothers, honestly, and I'm like 90% sure all their nicknames were just, or their WWE names were just plays on Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and some other player. Those are the only two players I actually know. But
nice.
It was my first. And jobbers, when they come out, jobbers get huge pops from the crowd. Like, especially at TV tapings when they get the jobber entrance. I mean, they go insane for them. It's absolutely great.
Oh yeah. So as the Bludgeon Brothers were getting out of the ring, the Usos music hit, and this is the second week in a row they teased the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers, but didn't do anything with it. It was like last week the Usos were leaving, and here comes the Bludgeon Brothers. This week, the Bludgeon Brothers are leaving, and here out comes the Usos. And they kind of said something on commentary, like, is this a future match we may see for the tag titles? But nothing really happened with it.
And I won't be mad if nothing ever happens with it, because honestly, the tag team division on SmackDown Live is getting stale and boring.
I mean, well, this is something different, though. Usos versus Harper and Rowan.
Yeah, I guess.
So
I guess it'll just be a 5-minute squash match instead of a 2-minute.
We then had a Uso promo, and they did a lot of poetry. They said that they used to wear the face paint, and now they wear the snapbacks. They went from rainbow colors to white and black. They went from being all right to having match of the night. Went from Samoan drops to super kicks. And then they said some other random stuff. And then they kept saying lockdown. But I'm just glad when they said lockdown like 3 times, they didn't put that cell door graphic on the screen. That was just dumb.
Yeah, that was absolute garbage.
We then go backstage, and Daniel Bryan says it's time to reveal the top 10 list. Top 10... supposedly.
So why don't you explain this, because I'm not too sure how to explain it, and it's still confusing to me.
So here's what they say. Daniel Bryan said that they want to find out a new way to give opportunities on SmackDown, and they don't want these opportunities to come just from what him and Shane think they should do or what the fans think they should do. He wants the superstars to have input. So the superstars each week will vote for who they feel is the best superstar on the roster, and then they will compile those into a top 10 list. Shane and Daniel don't have a vote, and you can't vote for yourself. So this made no sense to me, the way this was put together. If the roster was really voting, it wouldn't have gone this way, because number 10 was the perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Like, what the hell has he done on SmackDown to make himself?
Exactly.
Just think about this. Dillinger was number 10. And there was no Rusev on the list. There was no Kevin Owens on the list. There was no Sami Zayn on the list. Just put that in your thinking cap for a second. So number 9, Randy Orton. I can kind of see putting him at number 9 because he hasn't done much. He's on the show most weeks, but he hasn't really done much. So having him low, Corey Graves was mad that Randy Orton was low on the list, but having Randy Orton low on the list didn't hurt my feelings since he hasn't really done much in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So then number 8, Becky Lynch. Number 7, tag team champions the Usos, who was ranked number 6 above the tag team champions, the New Day. So was that some foreshadowing on we're going to get goddamn Usos New Day again?
I fucking hope not.
Yeah. Number 5 was the U.S. champion Bobby Roode. Number 4 was Naomi. Number 3 was the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble winner Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 2 was the Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. And number 1, WWE Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles.
Okay, I'm sorry. What the fuck has Charlotte done? She hasn't defended her title in like 3 months. She hasn't even had a match. I think this was her first match in like 3 weeks. She hasn't done shit.
Did she defend it Clash of Champions?
Fuck, I think
That was in
Yeah, she did.
December.
She defended it at Clash of Champions. That was the last fucking time she defended it.
Well, I mean, you can give them the benefit of the doubt that.
No, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. You can have throwaway matches. NXT does it. You can have throwaway matches. Why can't you have her defend the title against literally anybody on the roster? Instead, you're just having her sit there, make that title look like no one gives a shit about it. The U.S. title looks more important because that's defended and won and given more often. The women's title means absolutely fucking nothing right now.
Can you really say that the U.S. title means something when Dolph won it and then comes out the next Tuesday and says, I don't want it?
At least someone won it. At least it's being defended. The women's title has never been defended yet. It hasn't been defended since Clash of Champions. That's obnoxious. Yeah. You can throw and don't give me that bullshit. Oh, well, she's defended it at house shows. She's done a lot on the house show circuit. I don't give a fuck what she's done on the house. House shows are only canon when WWE wants them to be. When something happens at a house show, then it's canon. To me, the fact that she hasn't defended this fucking title on television since December and it's February.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
That's absolutely not good. They need to fix that title. They need to fix it quick.
Same thing with the Raw Women's title. According to Kurt Angle, Alexa hasn't defended it since October.
Like Nicole says, at least they're fucking talking about the U.S. title. I don't think they've brought anything. I mean, for God's sakes, Asuka won the Rumble right there. You could easily keep talking about the U.S. title and keep bringing it up and keep having it be something that's mentioned over and over and over and over. But no, you get nothing. This is absolutely fucking depressing.
Well, see, the thing with the Asuka thing is Asuka's on Raw, so they're going to keep mentioning it on Raw, but they're not going to bring it up on SmackDown that, hey, Charlotte, don't get too invested with the Riott Squad because you always have Asuka right there that can just say, never mind, I'm challenging you. So I think it would have been cool if there's always some kind of thought in the back of her mind okay, I'm dealing with the Riott Squad, but Asuka any week can come on SmackDown and say, I pick you for Mania.
And here's the thing to me. Here's the thing to me. At least on Raw, they have things that have implication towards that women's title. Right. Yes, it heavily involves usually Sasha and Nia Jax or Bayley. But, okay, that's fine. Those are your big money names. For now, I'm going to approve of that. But at least they're having qualifying matches. The Elimination Chamber, they're having, she's really close to getting a women's title shot. And she's about to face, someone who was a former women's champion. Something like that. I don't understand what's happening. I don't get why no one on the SmackDown creative team could just say, hey, let's have so-and-so fight for the title just because it would look kind of cool.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't make Charlotte look like a fucking nerd the whole time. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why they don't care about that women's title on SmackDown or Raw. I mean, fuck, they care about it more on Raw because they're actually giving it a little bit of TV time. Is this the first time we've seen Charlotte with the title actually doing anything lately?
Might be. I know they posted a picture on Instagram. It was Charlotte in the back. She had the title spread out on a production box, and she was praying over it or whatever. Okay, now defend it. You're saying that the title means something. You're showing it praise or whatever, but you won't defend it.
Exactly. She's too afraid to defend it. And if they want to make that into a storyline oh, she's afraid of the Riott Squad. She's afraid of losing that title to Becky Lynch. She's afraid of, fuck it. Use Ric Flair in this. She's afraid of letting her father down. Something like that. But all they're doing is just letting it sit there. Come on.
Exactly.
Let's move on.
All right. So we go backstage. We see the New Day again reacting to being number 6. And then Big E says, and I quote, I wouldn't give Corey Graves 6% of winning a street fight. Let's let that sink in. That. Let that sink in for a second.
You want to go ahead and repeat it so for some people that don't know?
Repeat what? The Booker T thing?
No, just repeat what Big E said.
Oh, Big E says, I wouldn't give Corey Graves 6%, a 6% chance of winning a street fight.
There you go.
Damn.
They say all men are created equal. And you look at Corey Graves and you look at Booker T, and you can see that statement is not true. Normally, when you know where I'm going with this, right?
I don't know if you should go with this.
Oh, God. Senior Joe. Let's go.
All right. So then Aiden English did a selfie promo in the gym with Rusev. Rusev was working out, and he pretty much said, "Hey, Bob Roode, here's your new U.S. champion." I'm going to say something about Rusev. Rusev is getting nothing and is the most over superstar. According to Sean Sapp of Fightful.com, he posted on Twitter that WWE initially ordered and created 2,500 Rusev calendars and sold out almost immediately. So to be safe, they ordered 5,000 more for shop.
Good.
That's how over
Did you get
Rusev
one yet?
is. No.
I'm gonna get one.
But they posted it today. They've got the Rusev Day coffee mug now. Big.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it in this promo. They had it hanging over one of the machines in the gym. A big, huge Rusev Day blanket. Like, anything they can put Happy Rusev Day on, they're going to do it because they know it's going to sell.
Right. And let's just say right now, we did it first.
Exactly.
Did it first. We were the first ones to make Rusev Day merch, and WWE stole from us. We're sending a cease and desist for them stealing our design.
Well, no,
they would destroy us.
Yeah,
they
anyways.
would destroy us.
So they go to commercial, come back, and Aiden English is in the ring singing Rusev Day song, and they had the words on the screen, and it was like one of those old kid sing-alongs where they had the little ball.
They've done that before.
I've never seen it. I never noticed it before.
They do it sparingly, like they do it off and on. They do it 1 week, then they don't do it for like a month, and they bring it up again.
Gotcha.
They have been doing it with Heath Slater though.
Gotcha.
So
he called Kansas City stupid. The crowd booed. After Rusev came out, they chanted Rusev Day. English pumped his fists along with them. Bobby Roode comes out. Match starts off. Remember, it's a U.S. title match. Bobby Roode. How long does this match go? Bobby Roode versus Rusev for the U.S. title, about 15 minutes long. They traded big moves quickly. Then they went to a break pretty quickly. Came back. And the crowd was really heavily chanting for both guys, but Rusev a little louder. It's like dueling chants. Rusev mounted a comeback with a clothesline, neck breaker, flying clothesline. English then distracted Roode, allowing Rusev to hit a kick to the head for a near fall, and it's pretty much a super kick, but Corey Graves called it the Machka kick.
I hope that becomes a thing. I like that.
The Machka kick.
Just because the word super kick is getting super overplayed, and if you give it kind of its own thing, then it kind of gives it new character, gives it new life, especially being such a commonly used move.
Right. It's like,
now.
Everyone's got their own version of the stunner. You got the Stone Cold Stunner, the Diamond Cutter, the Bubba Cutter, the RKO. Basically, they're all a cutter.
Yeah.
But they've done it a tiny bit different, and you give them all different names, and people don't realize, oh, well, they're basically the same moves.
Yeah.
So we go to another commercial, come back. Rude attempted a glorious DDT, but Rusev countered with an elevated knee to the gut. Rusev came back with a spine buster for a near fall. Rude
he got a good spine buster.
Yeah, he did. This was really actually a good match. Rusev, Rude knocked English off the apron, which led for Rusev to try for a small package, got a 2 count. Rusev then followed with another Machka kick, and he didn't go for the cover for some reason. He kind of stalled for a second, and then he tried to go for the accolade. Rude reversed it, managed to hit the glorious DDT, and pinned Rusev 1-2-3 as he was celebrating his successful championship defense. All of a sudden, RKO out of nowhere by Randy Orton on Bobby Roode. I'm like, ooh. We put Randy Orton challenging for the U.S. title, and
would that mean that he's heel at that point?
He wants to be heel. He says he likes being heel better.
Right, but then would that mean? I mean, Roode has to be the face here, unless Orton knows that Roode needs to be heel, and he takes the thing and he goes, you know what? Hey, go be a heel, dude. Let Roode be his fucking JBL-esque gimmick, and Orton can do one more face job before he goes up against anyone else.
And then Orton hit an RKO on English, then hit an RKO on Rusev for good measure. I thought we were getting the Fashion Files, but it was just Gable and Benjamin.
Oh, boy.
They had their little cork board, and they had a bunch of pictures on it like you would think it's the Fashion Files, and they were pictures of Breezango. They said that they took out Breezango last week, and this week they're going to take down the Ascension because they want to bring prestige back to the tag team division on SmackDown Live. And then they call themselves Weapons of Tag Destruction.
Oh, that's... I don't think I've ever developed cancer from hearing words, but I think I just did.
The funny thing is when they would say certain words, like they would point to the pictures on the cork board, and when they would say the word to describe the picture, the graphics come up with the word. Nothing like being a tough guy and little kitty graphics come up on your screen.
Happens.
I mean, I was listening to Brian Alvarez's review of SmackDown last week, and he goes, I can't get into SmackDown when I'm trying to watch someone do a promo and I got Blue's Clues letters coming up on my screen.
Accurate.
I was like, damn.
But hey, at least your kids would know what's going on.
Well, I guess.
At least they can
If they can read. Because I got one kid that can read and one kid that can't yet.
What?
Well, one's in first grade and one's in preschool.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
All right.
That's fair for now.
So then we had Gable and Benjamin against the Ascension. It was like a 3.5-minute match. Gable hit a big German suplex on Victor. They used the double team powerbomb, flying clothesline combo for the victory.
Dude, fuck it. Just make Gable U.S. champ.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
He'd be a great U.S. champion.
It would. We then go back to the New Day. Someone tweeted them, hey, who do you think is going to win tonight? They said they didn't care. They hope both guys lost. Someone else said that, if it was up to them, which 3 members of the New Day would be ranked higher as a singles in the top 10 list. They also, Xavier and Big E said Kofi. They said because Kofi's a multi-time tag team champion, multi-time U.S. champion, multi-time IC champion. And then Xavier said that Kofi was going to be WWE champion in 2018.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll take that.
I was like, what? Are you
that would
giving away
solidify
storylines?
That would solidify the idea of SmackDown Live as a land of opportunity.
Exactly.
That would solidify it for me.
Kofi works. I always thought you have Kofi and Xavier
heartbreaker.
be the tag team and Big E go for that U.S. title. But I mean, Kofi's an established, singles champion. So you can have him break off, not really break off, but be kind of like the Shield was. Ambrose was the U.S. champion. Roman and Seth were the tag champions. Why can't you do that with the New Day?
I like that. I think I like that.
Kofi
and they're all believable champions as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like none of them would be believable as a certain kind of champion. They're all really believable as that.
Kofi then said that if he was given the number 1 spot, he would actually do something or no, let me rephrase this. He goes, if I was given the number 1 spot, I would actually break it in half and give it to each of you. And they were like, oh, how sweet of you. And then they started stuffing pancakes in his face.
I like the New Day. The New Day gets old, but God, the New Day is good.
Yeah. We then go to gorilla position where Renee Young is standing by with Sami Zayn.
Gorilla.
She said that this was his chance to finally step out of Owens' shadow. Zayn said when it comes to becoming champion again, Kevin will not stop. He's already been an Intercontinental Champion. He's already been a U.S. Champion. Already been a Universal Champion. And it's his turn to become the champion. We then get a graphic that says, hey, Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin next week on SmackDown. We're not even going to mention that he was number 30 in the Rumble.
I think they'll play it up next week.
Who knows?
They'll play it up next week.
It is kind of bullshit. They just said that Ziggler's been away for several weeks. Like, no mention of, hey, 2 weeks ago he was in the Rumble. Came out last.
Yeah, we'll get something about that next week, I'm sure.
I wouldn't be too... SmackDown, continuity and storylines, I wouldn't be too...
Yeah, that's true.
So then we had a...
Anyway.
13, 14-minute match. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. They traded a few shots early, but Zayn lost his cool after a back elbow from Owens. He then tackled Owens and wildly attacked him with strikes. Owens then... This is so funny. So Zayn's going nuts on Kevin right now, and then Owens goes, Sami, calm down. It's like, what? It's
I did see that.
Match.
I like that. I like that they're still playing up the, like, Kevin's trying to be like, yo, you're my friend, calm down. And Sami's like, I want to win.
And Sami just kind of, turned it up. He didn't calm down. He calmed up.
I don't think that's it. You can't coin that term. Can't just be making terms here, buddy.
Hey. They went to commercial break. After the commercial break, they traded some big moves. Owens hit a pump handle neck breaker for a 2. Zayn came back with tornado DDT for the near fall. Owens tried a senton off the top rope, but Zayn got his knees up. Owens then spilled to the outside of the ring. Zayn then nailed him with a diving tornado DDT through the ropes. Zayn went for the haluva kick, but Owens hit a super kick instead. Frog splash, 2 count. Styles was on commentary and was stunned that Sami Zayn actually kicked out and said that. And then they said that Sami Zayn's got a lot of resiliency. Zayn then slipped out of a pop-up powerbomb attempt, hit a half-and-half suplex, which was, I'm surprised, the way Owens barely rotated enough to not land on his neck for this.
I think he's probably taken that move 100 times before. He has a pretty good idea of what he was doing.
He then hit a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. Owens then got out of the ring. Zayn went after him, and instead of going after, he followed Owens out of the ring, but instead of saying, hey, I'm going to get on my opponent, he goes and gets an AJ Styles face at commentary. And AJ was like, go, you're having a match, don't worry about me. And so he kind of turns around in his chair like, okay, you're not going to listen about, you got a match going on, so I'm not going to give you any attention. So Sami says, hey, look at me when I'm talking to you. He grabs the chair, spins it around, and AJ gets pissed. So AJ jumps out of the chair, punches Sami in the face, punches Kevin in the face. Referee calls for a no contest, and they start fighting.
So technically, Sami should have won.
Technically, since Sami was hit first, it should have been Owens disqualified. Sami's the victor.
Exactly.
So AJ throws Sami in the ring. What did he I forget exactly what he did, but eventually both guys made it to the ramp, and he did a dive over the top rope, landing on both of them with a crossbody. He then got back in the ring and started yelling, I just want an opponent. There needs to be someone that won. I need an opponent. Well, you're the one that fucked up the match. You yelling you need an opponent. So Daniel Bryan comes out, and he's got this look on his face like, I'm about to do something diabolical. Like, what the hell? And he goes, I'm here to make an announcement. Based off of the great competition we had between Sami and Kevin and the outside interference by AJ Styles, the main event for Fastlane will now be a triple threat match. Kevin and Sami will both get an opportunity at AJ Styles. And there you go.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
That was SmackDown.
Yeah, it was an episode of SmackDown. Had its moments, kind of like
2
Raw
really
does.
good matches. I mean, before the finish, Kevin and Sami was great. Rusev and Bobby Roode was really good. Probably Bobby Roode's best match, I think, since coming to the main roster.
Oh yeah.
So for that, it wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't like a great. I wouldn't be against saying, hey, go check out that main event because it was kind of good. Sami and Kevin. When are you not going to have a good Sami and Kevin match? Because I thought maybe they would goof around in the match because of the story and not just go blow to blow, but they just had a match.
Right. I was a big fan of it. I thought it was it was an episode of Raw or SmackDown, excuse me, that I got behind. So, thank you guys.
Well, hold on. I do want to say one thing. One more thing about 205 Live. Yep. Rockstar Spud or Drake Maverick, whatever you want to call him, he's probably the best promo in WWE. He was cutting promos the whole show. He did 3, I want to say. And every time he was cutting a promo on somebody or about something, he did not sound like he was reciting a line once. He just sounded like a guy that knew what he was going to say. He literally sounded like someone that was in charge. Was like, I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to do it. There was a spot when he was like, Drew Gulak, why have you become a comedy guy and a joke? He goes, Tony Nese, you're the most athletically gifted guy on 205 Live, and all you care about is counting your abs. We know it. You've got abs.
That's a statement I've always wanted to hear.
It's just like everything he says, it was just fluid. It's like you see some of these guys on Raw and SmackDown, and you can tell they're reciting lines. But him, it almost makes you believe that they said, here's what the segment is. You say whatever you want. That's how he comes off, and that's great.
He's really good. He's a real good addition to 205 Live.
Yeah, he's just really good overall. And hey, I'd say go back and watch the whole show because Lince Dorado and Kalisto, it was a good match too.
Yeah.
So you got a little over a half hour, almost 40-something minutes. Go watch it. But that's gonna do it for tonight's SmackDown Live review. I've been Tim. This is Nick joining us as well. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. Right here on YouTube, you can find me at Timmy Buddy. You can find Nick at PWU_Armstrong. And I guess that's going to do it.
That is going to do it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I appreciate it. Be sure to follow us on every platform that we just named. If you don't, I will cry. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night, you guys. And we will see you guys tomorrow for our regularly timed live show every Wednesday, the PWUnlimited podcast, with some fun stuff to talk about right here at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern. See you guys tomorrow night.
Good night.
Later.